John and Kelly, thank you very much for participating in this video series of faith conversations. You bring a unique perspective. I know that you've been engaged now for almost a year, so tell us a little bit about yourselves and how did you meet?
Well, we actually met online. John was kind of new to the area. He had just recently gotten a new job, and I have always lived in the area. So we met online one night, and our first date was at Lola's Garden in Ardmore.
Yeah, and the date went so well that we ended up continuing the date later on that night at a local board game room. And I did win a few games. She won a few herself. And we said, you know what? It got a little competitive. And we said, this was a lot of fun. I think we should do it again. And the rest is history.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years in October.
John, this past Easter, you were fully initiated into the Catholic Church, receiving the sacraments of confirmation and Eucharist. What prompted you to take that first step and give Monsignor Doherty a call and move towards participating in the Order of Christian Initiation for Adults?
Yeah, it's a great question. Going back, I was raised Lutheran growing up, and I attended private school where, faith was a big part of my life and continued to be throughout once I graduated. When I met Kelly, her faith and her family's faith was very important to her. And when we decided to take that next step and get engaged, we had to have that conversation about how we were going to live our lives moving forward. And I felt called to, keep an open mind. Timing, we got engaged in September of last year. So I said a few weeks afterwards, I said, listen, I'm interested in growing my Catholic faith as well too and learning more about what that would look like. But what prompted me was when we're coming together as one, seeing that and knowing her background and getting married here at Saint Margaret's, I saw a special connection that she had with Saint Margaret's, with being part of the parish here, and then on top of that with Monsignor. And I said, if I'm going to stand up there and get married to Kelly, I want the same experience, and I want us to have and share that together. So I enrolled in the program with Monsignor, and it was wonderful.
Kelly, your family's had a long history in this parish. As you look back over this past year or two, how can you say that you supported John in his faith journey?
Yeah, so when we had talked about it many times, I feel like when we had first started dating, that faith was very important to both of us. My family and I just have a strong faith. We generally come to church almost every week. We all grew up going to Saint Margaret's. My mom went to Saint Margaret's. It has just been very prominent in our lives. When John originally came to me and said he was thinking about joining the Catholic faith and just furthering his religious education, I was very pleasantly surprised. I was very excited. I actually kind of took it as like a more of a learning opportunity for me as well, because I haven't been to St. Margaret's in a little bit. So, each week when he would go to his classes, he would come back and we would kind of talk about it a little bit. And it kind of made me remember some things I learned in Catholic school or going to church and remembering like why we do certain things that we do in the church. On a personal level, I think it just kind of made me reassured in our compatibility as a couple that he was able to come to me and make this step with me. And I think it just made us that much stronger as a couple and that much more excited to get married in a Catholic church.
John, you mentioned that your experience of being in the OCIA was a very positive one. What can you glean from that experience?
I think what it is it's the mindset and the ability to grow in my personal faith. Going each week, I would leave curious for more and wanting to continue to grow that. Not only for myself, but again, going back to Kelly and I, for our family. Monsignor did a wonderful job leading that group. Deacon Chris also did a wonderful job. The different people that were also who joined in that journey, it was really neat. We became friends throughout that journey together. So I think the fact that I would leave wanting to learn more and eager to grow and to come back each week was a wonderful experience.
It sounds like it was mutually enriching as well as a deepening of your faith. As you accredit that group as a whole, and as you look forward to your life together, I know that date is April 24th, what difference can you see that your shared faith brings?
I think one of the things we discussed was the peace that it's going to bring. Life's not perfect. We are going to go through different trials and hardships, but at the same time too, knowing that we're unified together and we have God there with us, it brings that peace of understanding that through him all things are possible. Excited to grow together in our faith as well.
I think it's really comforting to know that, not only are we making a commitment to each other and in front of our loved ones and our family members on that date, but we're also making a commitment to God and our faith. And it's just comforting to know that, he will always be there with us and his presence will be there whenever we may need it for anything, just to maybe talk, to vent, just for extra prayers one day. So it's really nice to know. And it does bring you like a sense of peace to know that it's not you're committing to yourselves and each other, but you're also committing to God and his family.
I think you could give the course in marriage preparation.
Maybe one day we will. We did just we're going through our pre-Cana and we finished the online portion. Yeah, it's been great so far. We've really enjoyed it.
It sounds like a steady journey, John. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
John, having gone through the whole OCIA process, you could give advice to someone who might be on the fence. There's something that's drawing them and they want to deepen their faith life. So they might say to themselves, should I or should I not take the first step? What advice would you give them?
Well, I would say you miss at the bats you don't take, right? I think keep an open mind, especially if you're entering in your next chapter of your life and you're getting married and you're engaged. If it's important to your loved one and your partner, think about the opportunity that what you could share together. I think keeping it open in mind throughout this journey for myself has not only opened so many other doors maybe weren't possible prior, but I think it's also going to really again strengthen the relationship and the marriage that we're building, and it's only going to help us grow closer as we grow.
I thank you both for taking the time to reflect upon this before you even came this evening. And I think it's going to be a great faith witness to those who view it. So all the best to you, and I'll be thinking of you especially on your wedding day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very exciting.